Our first banner for Year 8 of Fire Emblem Heroes is a Sacred Stones Valentines Banner. This year's Day of Devotion participants are Selena, Myrrh, Ephraim, and Duo Lyon Eirika. We'll be going over everyone's stats and skills, plus discuss journal playstyle and build ideas. The power creep ain't stopping for Year 8. The 4-star focus unit for this banner is Valentines Selena. You can get her at 4 and 5-star rarity. The most surprising alt of the banner, General Selena, does have interactions with Myrrh, but her being here makes the most sense with Vanguard being our Tempest unit. Selena is fiercely devoted to her Emperor since he saved her village. For her 3rd iteration, Selena is a Red Mage Cavalier, only need colorless to complete the set. For stats, she has 40 HP, 45 attack, 46 speed, 20 defense, and 22 res. Just like before, pure glass cannon, and she has attack and speed super boons. Selena is up there with the 5-star mages, at least in terms of offensive stats. For old skills, Selena has Rally Up Attack Plus, Attack and Speed Catch 3, and Attack and Far Trace 3. Friendly reminder that in Update 8.2, we can now have 5 skill slots for inheriting. This means you can now pass on Rally Up Attack Plus, and then all 3 tiers of Catch or Far Trace. Instead of the Rally Assist, you can get both tiers of Selena's Inheritable Tome, the Devoted Basket Plus. Releasing 2 Inheritable Red Tomes back to back is an interesting decision, but good lord, this is another strong option. It might even be better than Nabata Beacon. At start of combat, if unit has more than 25% HP, deal damage to foe equal to X% of the foe's attack stat as combat begins. If unit has weapon triangle advantage or outspeeds the enemy, X is going to be equal to 30%, otherwise X is 15%. Instant damage only occurs if unit can attack in combat. In addition, grant +5 attack and speed and bonus attack and speed equal to 15% of the unit's speed at start of combat. This is a beast of an inheritable tome. I don't know if we're going to get that fast arcane red tome anytime soon, since we now have 2 good tomes generally better on the faster mages. While Nabata Beacon has Desperation and ignores movement penalties, Devoted Basket has freaking instant pre-combat damage. If a foe has 60 attack, that is already 18 unpierceable damage. Even if they don't have triangle advantage or lose the speed check, you would still deal 9 instant damage. On top of this, the user gets +5 attack and speed plus more attack and speed based on their at start of combat speed stat. 40 flat speed, for example, would give +6, so let's say you get at least +10 attack and speed from this weapon. One thing to note is that unlike Legendary Camilla, the Devoted Basket user must be able to attack in combat, meaning if a melee foe smacks Selena, they don't take instant damage unless you run close counter. Additionally, fire sweep effects should do the same. For general playstyle, General Selena is gonna do what any glass cannon mage cav does, blow all their damage in a hit, and then die if touched. If you want to try, Remote Sparrow, Fleeting Echo, and various B skills have %DR. It might work, but any piercing effects will KO Selena for sure. We have 0 defensive perks from this weapon. With her base kit, Selena ideally wants to outspeed any color foe, so she always gets the 30% attack scaling for the instant damage. You initiate, deal the instant damage proc, and then land a basic attack, and then pray to God the enemy is dead. If they don't fight back, Selena can get a double maybe. After combat, you got Far Trace Condu to retreat. For the premium version of this, it's just Flared Sparrow and Occultist's Strike. Ranged cavs still don't really have the most interesting skill selection, hence why every offensive build is just these 2 skills. Selena can't get offense in a fallout by herself, and Heavy Blade is your 1 cooldown perk. With Flared Strike though, we take that 14 instant damage and add it to Devoted Basket. In our 60 attack example, the foe just instantly takes 32 damage they cannot reduce. We got no tier piercing skills, so yeah, what else do you want to run on your range cavs? In the C slot, you can use Incite for self boss or Fatal Smoke or Feud to counteract defensive support. For other skills, you can drop Occultist's Strike for Wind or Water Sweep. Desperation would be nice, but again, no offense enough follow-up to guarantee a double. Speed Preempt might work, but Selena isn't one-shotting units just with a Devoted Basket. For other weapons, Nabata Beacon is still good, especially since it ignores trenches. Arcane Eclipse can pre-charge a low cooldown special, but we can't use something like Special Spiral or Times Pulse. At the moment, we can't do too much besides add straight damage for builds. There are some safety tools, but the Flared Strike combo is literally just an extension of Devoted Basket and the continuing power creep of instant damage. If you want more effects, you're gonna have to find some ally support. Our next Valentine's alt is for Myrrh. Would have liked to see her father get into Fae, but I guess we'll keep on waiting. Don't let the wings fool you, Myrrh is once again an Armor Dragon and colorless this time. For stats, she has 50 HP, 47 attack, 16 speed, 48 defense, and 45 res. No more messing around with some speed, Myrrh is going full no speed min-maxing. She has HP, attack, and defense super boons. She will be the highest defense dragon around, ties Deginsia for highest attack, and is the slowest dragon in the game now. Myrrh also ties for the highest defense stat in the whole game with Dragonflyer stats. Myrrh has trainee BST, and at 206 base stat total, she is actually the new highest BST unit in the game, 1 point above Bravecorn. For old skills, it's just Armored Beacon, so you know we're in for a ride. Beacon is the bonfire type special with unpierceable damage reduction for range attacks only. Myrrh's Loving Breath Dragonstone has 60 might and accelerated specials. It also has built-in distant counter. If foe initiates combat or has more than 75% HP, grant bonus attack to Myrrh and inflict attack debuffs on the foe equal to the number of allies within 3 spaces times 4 with a base of +6. Myrrh also gets breath type cooldown reduction, heals 7 HP after combat, and has the standard 40% Dragon Wall damage reduction. Not a very complicated weapon, but good lord, that's a lot of effects for a DC weapon. Dragons have adaptive damage versus range, so all those high res low defense mages gotta watch out. For Myrrh's attack buffs and debuffs, she needs 2 allies within 3 spaces that the max +14 attack and -14 attack debuffs, pretty easy to do. You then just want as much res as possible to get the full Dragon Wall damage reduction. To add to Myrrh's list of tank perks, she has a unique C skill, Darkling Dragon. Like her legendary ult, every turn if Myrrh is within 2 spaces of an ally, she gets +6 defense to Myrrh's field buffs and Warp Bubble. However, Myrrh can now pass the same effects to any support partner within 2 spaces, and if no support is on your team, this goes to the highest defense ally within 2 spaces. In addition, if Myrrh fights near an ally, she gets guard on the foe, and it gets 50% DR piercing on every attack. This is basically a guaranteed since Myrrh has built-in bar save and a bonus +4 attack, defense, and res. Myrrh do be copying some of the other dragons with that built-in savior. Guard and partial damage reduction piercing are excellent since Myrrh is not going to go for follow-ups, so you gotta make that one hit count. As a reminder, Warp Bubble is a status that prevents warping within 4 spaces. Similar to Brave Soren, Myrrh has a support mechanic that will still work if the support partner is not on the team. You can choose who gets Warp Bubble specifically, but otherwise it's just going to go to the highest defense ally. One of the issues for Warp Bubble is that it's previously only been on 2 units, Legendary Myrrh and the Gatekeeper. This means you need to put those 2 units in position to block the warping. That may be iffy if they have to fight. Now, Valentines Myrrh can give anyone Warp Bubble, not to mention you get 2 users on the field for the price of 1 unit. Technically, you can have even more users with the same support copy or the same highest defense stat, but that's up to you. Moving on, Myrrh has a couple new inheritable skill variants. First is Defense and Res Scout 4. If foe initiates combat or has more than 75% HP, grant +7 Defense and Res, and if the foe has an offensive special, plus the user has 5 or more res than the enemy, then inflict +1 special cooldown before the foe's first attack. The pure tank scout version is in. Funny enough, Legendary Myrrh is still the only Defense and Res Unity holder, so I guess she likes hoarding the pure defensive skills. Scout is a great counter to pre-charge specials and can cause further issues if you pair it with guard or no special charging. Pair the A skill with Veil for double Scout +2 cooldown shenanigans. That will be enough to stop those new house leaders. Last new inheritable skill is Canny Fighter. Essentially, this is the magic damage counterpart to Weaving Fighter, and yes, healers can run this too. At start of combat, if above 25% HP, inflict -4 attack and res on the foe. Unit and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, and reduce damage from the foe's first attacks with an S by X%. If the foe can make a follow-up, then X is 80%, otherwise it's 40. In addition, reduce damage from foe's follow-up attacks with an S by 40% during combat, and heal 7 HP after combat. Alright, so Canny Fighter is the tier 4 wary fighter for armored dragons, mages, and healers. I am very tempted to get a copy for Valentine's Lissa, it's such a bad idea. What's not a bad idea is that if you want this on a fellow armored dragon, then Myrrh can also share all 4 levels of Defense and Scout. Just to be clear, Canny Fighter's % DR can be pierced. In regards to potent follow-ups, they are treated as follow-up attacks for stuff like this, so they're going to get hit by 40% DR. If the potent user hits 3 times, the first hit's reduced by 80%, then the normal and potent follow-up are reduced by 40% each. However, if you're not Emblem Marth, that potent follow-up only was dealing 40% damage to start with as well. Valentines Myrrh is a beast. Dragon. Armored in fact, with a slew of defensive perks. Just going down the line, Distant Counter, Bar Save, Warp Bubble, Slaying, Breath Type Cooldown, Guard, half DR Piercing, Follow-Up Denial, and if you do not KO her, she heals 14 HP after combat. In terms of damage reduction, assuming the foe can follow up and has fully active Dragon Wall, Myrrh's first hit taken is reduced by 88% and Scowl prevents any pre-charge specials. Her second hit taken will be reduced by 64%, and if a special is ready, then you tack on another 40% unpierceable DR via Armored Beacon. For stat swings, with the current base kit, Myrrh gets plus 18 attack and plus 17 defense and res. She inflicts minus 18 attack and minus 4 res. Over 30 points of defensive stats in her favor on top of naturally high HP defense and res, on top of multiple DR sources. Myrrh will also hit back extremely hard. If not stopped, her counterattack will be a Slaying Armored Beacon with half DR piercing, not to mention adaptive damage versus ranged. Suffice to say, but Myrrh is extremely bulky and any normal unit is not going to do anything to her. DR Pierce is basically a must, and you also have to survive or avoid her counterattacks. Emblem Art should do a fine job cutting Myrrh down, but she is meant to far save. If you can Fire Sweep her, Myrrh will still heal 14 HP if you do not kill her, so not really great for extended fights. The Warp Bubble support can also massively reduce offensive pressure, and that can let Myrrh's team pick off incoming stragglers. For some other skills, we do have a Dragon's Wrath 3 Sacred Seal with the current Tempest Trials. Why not throw that on the new Armored Dragon? More damage reduction and more damage from Myrrh. Reminder that Dragon's Wrath 3 is enemy phase only. For A skills, I don't think that many are going to change out Scowl. Maybe stacking flat defense res could be an option if you want to also mess up area effect specials. In the B slot, if you're okay dropping some percent DR, Counter Roar is a more damage oriented option. It won't have follow-up denial, but it still has the 7 HP after combat healing. Hardy Fighter can be used if you want. Myrrh has Slang and Breath type cooldown. If you want Myrrh to follow up, Dragon's Ire can work. For Sacred Seals, the Squad Ace Seals add more HP to use with all that percent DR. Hardy Bearing can mess up Desperation users, and Armored Boots or March can let Myrrh keep up with the team. Overall, while we got another ultra tanky dragon in the game, I'm pretty excited for more Warp Bubble. If you have issues with warping enemies, Valentines Myrrh can open up some more counterplay for your team. Next up, Valentines Ephraim. I don't feel like we needed another Ephraim ult in less than a year at this point, but I guess if Lyon and Eirika are on a family and friends themed banner, then here we are. Ephraim is once again a Lance Army unit, and for stats he has 47 HP, 48 attack, 17 speed, 48 defense, and 41 res. He has attack and res super boons. 48 base attack is a new high without any extra features. However, Ephraim's gonna have to share the crown for highest attack in the game with Dragonflowers with himself from last summer. For old skills, Ephraim has Armored Blaze and attack and defense near save. Blaze gives percent DR for melee attacks. Ephraim's new weapon is the Righteous Lance, 16 accelerated specials. First off, grant +4 attack and defense to allies within 3 spaces during their combat, and heal those allies 7 HP after their combat as well. I never thought Ephraim would have healing support, but okay. Now, if the foe initiates combat or has more than 75% HP, inflict attack and defense debuffs based on the number of allies within 3 spaces times 4 with a base -6. Additionally, reduce all hits by 30%, heal 7 HP after combat, and when special triggers, Ephraim will fully pierce percent DR skills. To get the max -14 attack and defense debuffs, Ephraim needs to be near 2 allies, same as Myrrh. As a near save armor, it should be pretty easy. Righteous Lance is fairly straightforward. Ephraim is sharing some of his healing abilities with allies, and for combat we got accelerated specials and DR piercing on those special procs. Ephraim is going to retain his unique B skill his summer ult got, but with some tweaks. If Ephraim initiates or with more than 25% HP, he will actually let the enemy attack first. For either phase, when above 25% health, you will inflict -5 attack and defense on the foe, gain brave attacks, gain no guard, and restore 7 HP on hit. Sunlit Bangle D is just Sunlight Bangle with no guard added. Instead of positioning, Ephraim just needs to be healthy and he'll get brave attacks with even more healing. Instead of follow-up attacking, it seems like Ephraim is just transitioned into full-on brave attacking. While he's a near save armor, if Ephraim can initiate, he can do some damage. The reverse Vantage will give him a free cooldown charge, and that's going to mean slaying Armored Blaze procs on the second brave hit. Ephraim also heals up any of that damage he takes. For his one inheritable skill, Ephraim has Earth Fire Boost 3. Grant +5 HP. If unit has more than half health, grant +7 attack and defense. And if you're within 2 spaces of an ally also with more than half health, then also inflict guard on the foe. Tier 4 boost skills are not bad. They're easy to use, you get more HP, and compared to the Tier 3 dual stances, you also have guard for the player phase potentially. It does depend on positioning and a healthy team, but generally it's pretty easy to do. Solid A skill, you just need Earth Boost 3 or Fire Boost 3 to inherit it. With our 5 slots for inheriting, Ephraim can pass fellow army units his special Earth Fire Boost 3 and Near Save 3. For the most part, Valentines Ephraim is rather simple. Like his Winter Ultra Fine, the Brave attacks make Ephraim a more aggressive, damage-oriented savior. He doesn't have a million DR skills like Myrrh, but a modest 30% with Armored Blaze for special procs isn't too bad. If the attacker doesn't KO Ephraim, he replies with 2 Brave hits, and no guard with Slaying means Armored Blaze procs on the second attack. That special fully pierces DR skills, and Ephraim heals 14 HP for his 2 Brave hits. Besides the usual enemy phase gameplay, this Ephraim keeps the Brave attacks for player phase, and he has the reverse Vantage mechanic. By forcing the foe to attack first, Ephraim doesn't give them a cooldown charge, so hopefully they only hit him with a basic attack. Meanwhile, Ephraim uses that attack to charge Armored Blaze for his second Brave hit, exact same game plan as enemy phase. If you don't care for Savior, you can give Ephraim Assault Troop or Armor Marching Boots. If you want to be silly, you can also run Bold Fighter for potential quads, and Special Fighter offers extra cooldown charge for either phase. It doesn't really matter if you're sticking with Armored Blaze, but it would let Ephraim charge Ignis or Aether. One of those would be nice for Gale Force as well. That being said, kinda tough to top Winter Edelgard if you wanted a Gale Force armor unit. For other skills, you can swap to Unity or maybe Close Defense 4 if you wanted more defense. You can do Far Save if you want, and Hardy Bearing would be nice to stop desperation effects. In that seal slot, any stat booster is fine, but squad Ace seals at another 5 HP. Considering instant damage spam, 10 extra health isn't looking too bad if you keep Earth Fire Boost. All in all, Valentines Ephraim isn't coming in here to set the entire map on fire like a certain someone, but he does have some flexibility besides the usual near save. His healing support can be quite nice for a tank partner such as Valentines Myrrh. That little girl is going to heal 21 HP after combat if you do not KO her. Yeesh. Last up for today is Duo Valentines Lyon Eirika. This seems to be a normal Leon, but his skills are definitely inspired by Formortes. One of the interesting parts of Sacred Stones is figuring out just how much of the real Leon is actually still there. I don't think this ult is that deep though, it's just a very sweet opportunity to give our boy a win after all he's gone through. As a dual unit, Lyon Eirika will be a Green Mage Cavalier. He will have 39 HP, 47 attack, 16 speed, 26 defense, and 46 res. Leon has attack and res super boons. I believe he will tie for high stack mage in the game and is the second slowest just ahead of Goto. For old skills, Leon has Iceberg and Occultist's Strike for all your instant damage needs. Tender Vessel is Leon's weapon, and boy is it something. 14 Might, Excited Specials, and Kanto 1. At start of combat, if Leon has more than 25% HP, deal instant damage to the foe equal to X% of the foe's attack as combat begins. If Leon fights a blue enemy, such as Ephraim, or if he has more res than the enemy, then X is 40%, otherwise X is 20%. In addition, Leon gets plus 5 attack, defense, and res, and bonus stats equal to 20% of his res stat at start of combat. Finally, Leon pierces DR skills by 50%. So Duo Lyon is basically Legendary Camilla on a horse. Very similar weapons, just with res checks, and Leon even gets Camilla's DR piercing. Like Selena's Tome, this weapon only deals instant damage if Leon can attack, so Fire Sweep or melee initiators won't be affected. However, for Leon and those with Devoted Basket, you technically can run Close Counter and trigger the instant damage versus melee. Camilla can't do that. Overall, Duo Lyon is not going to go for doubles and doesn't really focus on any special charging. He's just going to hit really hard with partial DR Pierce plus instant damage that will just scale higher and higher the more attack the foe has. Leon's also going to come with a unique A skill called Grey Illusion. If unit initiates combat or foe has more than 75% HP, grant plus 9 attack, defense, and res. If Leon has more res than the enemy, he prevents their counter attacks. More stats and Fire Sweep is just going to make Leon even more annoying. Well, it doesn't stop there. If Leon initiates and then after combat inflict a status that says, after start of turn skills trigger, action ends immediately, onto foes with the highest speed within 3 spaces of the target enemy. For summoner duels, instead of that status, immediately end the turn of the highest speed enemy instead. The Demon King has hooked Leon up with his Nightmare turn ending mechanics. Instead of stopping foes on enemy phase, this is a player phase version that will target the fastest foe. Because the status triggers after at start of turn skills, it's going to be cleansed by things like recovery, but regardless, still a very crazy effect. Should Leon win a res check, he also gets Fire Sweep, Safety, and that will also mean he gets the higher damage scaling on his instant damage. Wingman for Mortis is not done yet. Leon's dual skill inflicts the same action-ending status on all foes in cardinal directions. For summoner duels, same as before, just end the foe's turn instead of the status. Not much more else to say except good luck, have fun not playing the game. If Leon can use the dual skill and the foe has no cleansing skills, they are just screwed, assuming Leon can line up correctly. This skill can hit multiple foes, so staying in a straight line is not going to end well. Last new skill for today is Incite Attack and Res. At start of turn, if number of allies adjacent to unit is 2 or fewer, grant +6 Attack and Res field buffs and the incited status to unit for 1 turn. If number of adjacent allies is 1 or fewer, also grant +3 Attack and Res in combat. Incite Attack and Res builds from Rouse Attack and Res 3, you can get that from 4-star Hilda and a couple other free-to-play units at 5 stars. As a reminder, the incited status grants bonus stats for every space you move when you initiate, up to +3. This means a cavalier like Leon can get +12 attack and res total from this skill alone. Incite is excellent for self buffs, you just cannot be completely surrounded at the start of the turn. Duo Lyon Eirika are gonna be a menace. Like Legendary Camilla, they basically have guaranteed chunk damage if they attack, and enemies that stack attack actually just screw themselves over. Leon will always get the higher damage scaling versus blue foes, but if you win a res check, then it works against anyone. For that reason, more attack and res stacking is ideal. Leon's base kit is basically perfect already though. Incite Attack and Res grants a lot of stats, and a Cultist Strike is just more instant damage plus a little bit of true damage. Leon isn't focusing on specials or follow-up attacking, he's going to get a ton of unreducible damage, and his basic attack will have the partial DR Pierce. His one safety tool is that Fire Sweep effect, and he has Counter to Reposition. If Leon has to get hit, he actually can get up to around +24 extra defense, which is pretty good. However, he has no DR effects himself, and he's going to get dealt by just about everyone. To prevent getting hit back, Leon can stop fast enemies after initiating. The dual skill can hit multiple foes in a line. For summoner duels, these can't play the game statuses will instead just end turn for those units. For other skills, while Grey Illusion is strong, you already know someone is still going to run a Flared A skill. Honestly, that's a fair option. The Story Leon almost KO'd my Duo Winter Bonnet, a unit which, by all accounts, should not be dying that easily. If the Story Leon had Flared Mirror, I'm pretty sure Bonnet would have died outright. For B skills, if you did want a follow-up and %DR, Brash as Hell is there. You could also run Sabotage and also ploy skills similar to Dual Sanaki. Keep in mind though, attack debuffs do lower the instant damage Leon deals. For another C skill, Fatal Smoke 4 will make sure anyone who should have died isn't coming back. Defensive Smoke 3 can give Pathfinder, which could be fun with Leon's Fire Sweep and Kanto. For seals, you can run Poison Strike. If the foe did survive and doesn't have Nelsie Distrip, then Leon can just come back for another round or let an ally finish the job. Fatal Smoke works nicely for the same reasons. Since Leon has Slaying though, you can add a pre-charge 2 cooldown special on top of his burst via Quicken Pulse. If you want to deny Vantage foes who actually do have Nelsie Disrupt, Hardy Bearing will ensure Leon does his damage first. If you thought Legendary Camilla was bad, well, here's a second one on a horse. I can only assume something's going to counter instant pre-combat damage in the future because, I don't know man. Let's see how long that takes. The first banner for year 8 is pretty spicy. It would have drained my orbs even if it wasn't, but dear lord. I did enjoy the paralogue with the Childhood Friends trio. It kind of felt like one of the flashbacks in Sacred Stones. Those bastards even played Leon's theme at the end. Next, we'll be talking about the Tempest trials already going on. Valentine's Vanguard is the heroic rail unit again. At least this time his weapon is interesting. Thank you for watching, good luck on your summons, I will see you guys in the next video.